Hello everyone. Well, no mention of sound and healing and sound instrumentation would be complete without talking about tuning forks. And one of the great experts on tuning forks, I mentioned his name yesterday, John Beaulieu, and his site is biosonics.com, so you can find out a lot of information about this if you're interested. But he's a fascinating fellow because he's a naturopath and a psychologist and a concert pianist and a marvelous man. And just finished interviewing him actually for the harmonics self class that I'm doing. And I've taken several workshops with him. And he is a great proponent of tuning forks because of his own personal experience with them. And he went back many years ago when he went into I believe it's called an anechoic chamber. In other words, there's no sound reverberation. It's completely silent. And became aware after an argument at a toll booth. He went inside and he kind of was familiar with his nervous system, because when you go into an anechoic chamber, all you're left with really is the sound of your own body systems, and the nervous system makes a certain sound. And also, apparently, the circulatory system as well makes another sound. And he went in and he just heard his nervous system screeching. He didn't realize he was actually upset, but this was what surprised him. But he realized that even though consciously he wasn't upset, clearly his body and his unconscious or subconscious was very, very upset. And so he went into the anechoic chamber and he just bringing out these tuning forks. I should probably tell you what I'm talking about when I talk about these. And he went into the anechoic chamber and he felt his nervous system, and he had this intuitive hit to use tuning forks. And he went outside and there was a music store and he bought a C and a G tuning fork, which is what I have here. And his theory was that this forms what's called in music a perfect fifth. And what he did is he struck these tuning forks, and you can simply just do it by hitting it there. And he put them to his ear just like this. I can hear the tones in my ears, and maybe slightly on the microphone. And his nervous system instantly calmed down. From that point on, he realized it was his actual life's work to what he called tune people up. And once you kind of get into this, you can then, of course, you can just change them over. There's no particular order that they have to be in. They keep on resonating for quite a while. And you can actually hum to them as well, and just find that tone. And so he found that it really, really calmed them down a lot. And of course, in this time that we're in, we really want to be as calm as we can. You can buy these tuning forks if you want, if it attracts you. You can go to his site and there's lots of information, but I'm not here to sell them to you at all. Just to tell you that it can be a very, very valuable tool, and we'll play them a little bit differently. I mean, so that you can hear them. There's no point just watching me just sitting here like this. But if I play them for you, then you can just see how it works. And John kind of recommends this kind of circulatory, almost Qigong martial art movement with it, just to move the energy. And you can just see what this does for you. Again, the idea is for it to calm your nervous system. I laid out the tuning forks for this presentation. I laid out all the tuning forks that I had. I stored them away in a bag. I hadn't really used them for a long time. And so I then just took them all out and laid them out. And I thought, how many tuning forks do I have? And I actually have 66 tuning forks. I know. I would be worried about myself as well, but I did actually stop at one point with all these instruments. I did kind of just say, you know what, I really have enough instruments. But I mean, I don't really believe that I have enough instruments, but at some point, you know, I was able to consciously control my addiction. John Beaulieu calls it being a sound hoarder, which he absolutely admits to being. He actually has 3,000 tuning forks. But, and this is the important point, he really says this is all you need. So with all my 66 tuning forks, this is all you need, a C and a G, and that's all. He also recommends what's called a vibroacoustic tuning fork. Now with this, it's got weights at the end, and here I can actually put it on my jaw. I was going to put it on the top of my head, but you can't really see that, but I can certainly put it on my chest. Oh, my whole body starts to vibrate. So this is quite interesting. This one is tuned to 128, which is the difference between the frequency of the C and the G. And so really the C and the G is contained in this, and you can just put it on your body or on acupuncture points. This one has a crystal footing. So right at the end here is just, it's either quartz crystal, I think it's quartz crystal, and it kind of amplifies the vibration or the energetic of the vibration. So that's something we're not going to be able to hear, but it may be of interest to you. So C and G we will hear. And to keep it interesting, I've also got these tuning forks, these little ones here, and I'm going to strike those as well. And I'm going to strike them against an amethyst crystal and also a rose quartz crystal. They're very, very high frequency pitched. The first one I'll do is a high octave C, which is like 4,000 hertz, I think. Well, it says 4,096, so I don't think that's what it says. And then we'll go into the planetary system, where I'll just be sounding the frequency of the planet, Jupiter, Venus, and then the Sun. Now, I mentioned this idea of planetary frequencies. I guess someone calculated what the planet's frequencies were. And I have a whole solar frequency here with all the planets, and I actually will not be playing those, but again, just to give you an idea, this is a rose crystal, and when I'm a little better positioned, I'll be hitting them a little bit better. And also, if that's something that appeals to you, we can certainly do that in the future. Let's see how this goes. So we're going to do the C and the G. Then I'm going to go through these tiny ones. And to finish off, I'm actually going to do the brain wave ones. And the brain wave ones, I'll be striking, this one is beta against a fundamental. So this will just be the base one, the beta against this. Then we'll go to alpha brainwave, then delta brainwave, and then theta brainwave. And I'll end it with theta, which is the deepest kind of brainwave state. I think there's a gamma state as well, but pretty much theta will get you into that meditative quality. So we'll end it there. I know a little bit of a lengthy explanation. Tuning forks, I'm sure I could go on for hours about it. Certainly John Beaulieu could go on for days. And a fascinating area of frequencies and energies, less kind of musical, but let's see how this goes. And please let me know how it feels for you, the effect it has on you, and if you'd like to hear more. Let's build the energy again and what your intention is for this session. Greater health and well-being, maybe abundance, perhaps you don't have a job at this time, and perhaps your intention is to have a job or just receive greater financial abundance. It's quite okay to have whatever intention comes to mind, but always remember we're doing all of this for the highest good. And then we use the sound as the carrier wave into the field of grace. Again, I'm calling it the field of grace or the grace field. Some people call it the quantum field from a scientific angle. The matrix, I've heard it called. Just like lots of the God field. I mean, lots of names for it. I think the grace field has that softer quality, has a more kind of devotional quality to me. And I do feel that it's a very loving, conscious field that we're carrying these waves into. And we do it for the highest good. But the energy field that we create, we've done this every session because it's so important, and it really is what this difference is. So let's do that, and then we'll go into the tuning forks. So again, we ask for the highest and purest light from the highest and purest source to surround and fill each one of us and the space we're in at this time. We move into our hearts, that Christ center, and allow that heart to expand with loving, bringing our loving into this moment. And we call forward the consciousness of the mystical traveler to release any negativity, dis-ease, disturbance, anything that we're carrying that we don't need at this time on an energetic level. We ask that it be transmuted, dissolved, released, and taken back into the nothingness from which it came for the highest good. And that on our inner journey that the mystical traveler consciousness guide us. And again, I dedicate all of these sessions to my spiritual teacher, John Roger, and ask that John Roger's energy and presence infuse everything we're doing here for the highest good. And within this energy field now, we place anything that we want to let go of or anybody that we feel is in need at this time. Again, we place the healthcare workers on the front line of this pandemic, assisting those in need at this time, and we ask for the light to go to them for the highest good. We ask that the people who have lost their jobs at this time, that the light be sent to them. And anyone who is suffering in this pandemic, we ask the light go to them for the highest good. And you can place the names or the images or the areas or your countries all into the light for the highest good. We're just letting it go. And we move into a more expansive, positive state because each one of us is an instrument, the most vital instrument of all. And so our vibration, we're tuning instruments, we're tuning forks, and we're sending out this vibration. So with all of that, let's start with the C and the G.